We're going to replace the O2 sensor on this BMW E91 Touring. There is the first sensor. There is another sensor on the left beneath the two metal plates there. That is the second O2 sensor in a far much more awkward position. So we're going to have to remove the engine cover. And in order to do that, we're going to have to remove the cowling, which is what we're going to do in this video. I'll show you the steps that you need to do to remove the cowling. There are 4 screws at the top of the cabin air filter that you need to remove. There's another 2 screws in front of it. The panels on the left hand side and the right hand side. I'm removing the right hand side panel. There they have 2 clips at the top and the bottom of them. Just need to lift that off. And then there are 2 sensors on either side that you also need to unclip. And there are 2 10mm sockets that you need to remove. That is the second bit of trim that you need to just lift off, that's covering, I think, probably the brake fluid. It might be, power steering fluid. One of the fluids anyway. And there's a little connector there. Very useful to record this if you need to know how to put this all back together again. So yeah, there's a cable that threads through at the bottom there, and you just need to unclip it. And be careful really where you place that cable. So there are 4 8mm screws that you need to remove. This is the first one for the cabin air filter. There's another 3 to remove, and then there are 2 at the front of the cabin air filter. Once they've been unscrewed, you just lift the cabin air filter off. So those are the 3 main bits of trim that you need to remove to allow you access to remove the panel beneath the cabin air filter. There is the third screw, 8mm, to remove. I will be investing in some power tools, no doubt, to expedite jobs like this, but a simple 8mm socket wrench will allow you to achieve the same outcome. This is the 4th and final screw at the top of the cabin air filter. There are another 2 in front that you need to remove. As you can see there, it's still pretty sturdy. I do apologize if there are any mistakes I'm making. I am an enthusiast / hobbyist. I'm not the world's sort of best technician at this. I no doubt will improve, so if you spot anything that I'm doing incorrectly, do chime in with the comments. I won't take them too personally. But yeah, there is definitely the right way and the wrong way of doing this work really on these BMWs. You definitely want to make sure that you're doing work that's of a very high standard, and there it just lifts off the cabin air filter. It also means that I can change that cabin air filter on my own if I need to. That typically I would have required required the servicing center to do. There I am unclipping one of the sensors using a screwdriver. There. It has a little clip at the center that you can just unclip using a screwdriver. There's another one on the right hand side. Basically there are two sensors that you need to unclip. I'm probably going to remove the 10mm socket at first. There's another 10mm socket on the left hand side as well, and then you're done really with the screws. So 4 8mm sockets at the top, 2 beneath for the cabin air filter. Then there are 2 10mm sockets on either side that you need to remove. You also need to unclip the 2 sensors. There's the boot sensor on the right hand side. I've forgotten what this left hand side sensor is for. And then you need to unclip the center there. It's a bit weird because you basically need to unclip it a bit right. I'll show you in just a second there. It's just going to unclip. Just very gently. Now it should come out. There you have it. And then there's another one. And then it's a case of removing the bonnet sensor, the boot sensor that is wired into that panel with some clips. You just need to unclip those. Just be very careful. If you close the boot, you're probably going to fray the wires on these 2 sensors. So yeah, you just need to be very careful where you place them. And here I'm unclipping the other sensor on the left that is attached to that panel where the cabin air filter sits. That's the one that we need to remove. There is the other sensor. As you can see, if I'm to close my boot, I'm going to fray those wires. So you just need to be very wary, and this should lift off with a little encouragement. You'll find that the cables are also connected to that bit of plastic. You're going to need to unclip them. There. That's just come off. I'm going to come to the right hand side and unclip it. And then that panel can be removed. And finally, that comes off. Could also do the clean. And finally, the screws for the engine cover. These aren't fastened too tight. They're really easy to remove. Some mechanics recommend not screwing the final screw I'm going to remove at the back, because I've had to remove all this cowling really to gain access to that screw. So if you need to remove the engine cover easily in the future, many tend to leave the screw that I'm removing now off, and they never return that back. So if they need to access the engine, all they are doing is just removing the screws at the front of the engine. But obviously that bodes well for BMW's servicing fees, and that's how easy it is to remove the engine cover on a BMW E91 Touring. Oodles more space ever since the engine cover has been removed. you're looking to remove those two metal plates there on the left hand side. There are two screws that are holding those plates in. Once you remove those two screws, the metal plates will lift off, and that will allow you to remove the second O2 sensor. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm.